Welcome to Sons of the Forest. Many years ago, my friend Natural Causes and I ended up on a deserted island in the search of Nat's son Timmy. This island was home to all kinds of monstrosities, such as six-legged mutants, crazy flying babies, and of course a little girl called Megan, who turned out to be not so little anymore. Years on from this event, Nat and I were trained military operatives who had been sent out on a rescue mission to rescue the Puffton family. Yet, on our flight to this mission, our helicopter was shot down and we crash landed on the mysterious island that the Puftons had gone missing on. Just as I was coming to my senses, a strange man put a gun to my head and knocked me out. This is the story of how Nat and I survived 100 days in Sons of the Forest. On day one, we awoke in the forest, quickly grabbed up our bag and supplies before being relieved to see that one of our squadron members named Calvin had survived. Overwhelmed with joy at this, I celebrated by launching a log at his face. We then put him to work and asked him to build us a shelter, while Nat and I opened our survival bags, which were marked only in case of an emergency. However, I would class your chopper being shot down and then knocked out with a gun to your head as an emergency, but perhaps that's a matter for personal opinion. My emergency bag contained a GPS, a hatchet, and a survival guide. We noticed that the GPS had some points of interest already marked off, and we assumed that these would be good places to start with. Calvin had now set up the shelter we'd asked him to, but I wasn't too impressed with what he had produced. We then set off into the trees, swinging to get some leaves and sticks. I managed to make myself a spear, which I decided to test out on this poor squirrel over here. I harvested its meat, before Nat and I ran into a strange looking fellow, covered in mud. At first we thought he might be friendly, but we had seen this sort of behaviour before, and knew that something wasn't right.
Doing anything oh, they can climb trees.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I mean, they do look a bit monkey-ish.
How you doing?
Are they monkeys? Are they half monkeys?
No, they're people. They're just very muddy.
That was a very strange
Dirty.
noise. Nat and I left our newly nicknamed Muddies to their day and set about doing some exploring. Armed with our spears, we came across some abandoned tents. But the question was, where were the people who had abandoned them? Still on our first day on the entire island, Nat decided to take on a couple of Muddies, and decided he would take a nap halfway through it.
Oh, I'm down.
What do you mean you're down?
I'm down.
What do you mean you're down?
I'm on the floor.
What are you doing? Get up!
I've been killed, Rampy. Help me.
Bloody hell, Nat. Get up! Look at you!
I have like 0 health.
Right, what are you doing, Calvin? He's just sitting there. What are you doing now?
Get him, Calvin.
No! I'm getting my spirit rope!
No, Calvin's down.
I've never played Minecraft.
You
Calvin!
need to help Calvin.
Right, I'm not gonna lie,
back.
Calvin is pretty useless.
Fight back,
Ow,
Calvin.
ow, ow. Right. Do we need to give Calvin like a weapon or something?
These guys hit much harder than the first one.
Get him!
You just hit me with your spear.
Yeah,
You did.
Nat, look, I'm killing them all on my own here. That night, we met a big scary red man, and Nat took another nap.
Friendly?
Oh, I don't think he wants to be. Oh, maybe he does. No, he doesn't.
No.
Why
Okay.
is he down again?
I was changing settings.
Will you like stop slacking and get off the floor?
I was in my menu. I'm sorry.
Ah, Jesus Christ, Nat. Luckily, I wasn't had to deal with the big scary man, and a couple more cannibals as well. We then found this very freaky looking mutant thing tied up to this post here, and realised that we must have invaded a cannibal camp. I wasn't quite sure whether to be alarmed or grateful that they were capturing the mutants, but nevertheless, we slaughtered the mutant and took his creepy armour. It was now pitch black, so we decided to sleep the night away, in the secure safety of whatever this thing that Calvin had hastily put together for us. The next morning, we awoke starving and thirsty, and also realised that we had spent the night slap bang in the middle of a cannibal camp. Probably not the wisest decision we've ever made. Speak of the devil, we soon found ourselves a host of them. It seemed that these cannibals did considerably more damage than the ones we'd encountered on Site A, as this big bad boy knocked me down in one hit with his club. Luckily, Nat was on hand to revive me, only for this guy to knock him down again. I tried to save Nat, but ended up getting knocked down myself, and this time with no Nat there to save me, I passed out. I awoke in a daze, although I quickly snapped out of it when I realised I was tied up in the middle of a cannibal camp, a bit like that mutant that we had seen the previous day. Luckily, the silly cannibals hadn't taken my knife off me, so as I slipped it out of my pocket and cut the rope that was binding me, I made a break for freedom. After successfully escaping, I grabbed my bag, which the cannibals had been nice enough to leave behind, and met up with Nat, who crazily enough had a very similar experience of being captured by cannibals. We ran through the bushes on a glorious day, and things were looking up, before both of us attempted to slide down this hill, and ended up plummeting right down to the bottom and knocking ourselves out again. Q being captured by cannibals once more, and of course once more escaping back to our bag. I then had to save Nat again, as he decided to take another nap with a cannibal right behind him. I ended the day by surviving one more cannibal attack by the skin of my teeth. These things were absolutely relentless. We were both exhausted from the day's effort, so we went for a long sleep to rest up. The next morning we awoke with a purpose, and started to head towards some of the markers on our GPS. We found a suitcase with some medicine, which would certainly be useful after the previous day, and then a stun baton, which Nat of course hit me on the head with. It was now time to explore our first cave, and see if any of the remaining Puffdons could be hiding out in here, away from the horrors outside.
I'm not seeing anything at the moment. What's that to the left?
Yeah, I was saying, is that something to the left?
Is that a cannibal in the water?
Sadly, inside, it appeared that our dreams of a deserted cave were a pipe dream, as inside we spotted some cannibals. Thus, I decided to make myself a bow and some arrows, so that I could deal with these things from range. Nat did the same, and together we took out the cannibal inside the cave, and then harvested it for some creepy armour. Stuck in the wall in this cave appeared to be some sort of slug creature monstrosity, so we decided the only right thing to do here was to chuck a grenade at its face. After we blew down the wall, we cautiously inspected the damage and found out that the grenade had finished off the slug creature, but had now set free a bunch of mutants, which were now running around the cave. Nat and I used our metal hatchet to take them out, before running into something slightly more scary.
Nah.
Yeah.
There's something over here. Nah, it's walking.
Oh.
It's walking.
I need to grab my Molotov. Keep it distracted for a second.
Yeah, sure, mate. No worries.
We nicknamed whatever these things were as mouth breathers, mainly because you can hear them from halfway across the cave, as if they've just spent half an hour on the treadmill. These things dealt some serious damage, but with two of us there, we did manage to take them out. The next creature we encountered, which we hadn't seen before, was the spider mutant, which looked like two people that had been pieced together on all fours. With our bow, we took this out, before we realised that the flying babies from the first island were back. Something wasn't right here. Surely the same people responsible for the first island couldn't be involved here, could they?
Left or right?
Left.
Rampy, I hope you're coming back, bro. I hope you're coming back. Rampy, you've gotta...
So, at this point, I popped downstairs to get a biscuit and a drink, and came back to this screen, as Nat had managed to aggro half the cannibals on the map over to me, while I was just re-energising. Not to worry though, as Nat was still around. Oh no, Nat was also dead, and I was passed out once more. I awoke in a cocoon-like substance, and had to force my way out of it. Outside of it, I found my bag once again untouched, and Nat and I continued to explore the cave, without of course my armour, which had all been destroyed in the attack. At the end of the cave, we collected our prize, which was the rope gun. Using the rope gun, Nat and I slid down into the very bottom of the cave, where we came face to face with another one of the spider mutants. Things seemed to be going fine and everything was under control, until Nat decided to blow me up.
Threw an explosive.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I told you.
What do you mean?
Damn,
You told me. You told me as it hit me.
After that little incident, we made it out of the cave, where we killed some cannibals, and Nat decided to knock down Calvin for some reason. We then set about making a temporary shelter for a couple of days, as this constant on-the-move life was tiring for both of us, and we needed somewhere to settle down, even if it was just for a short while. However, while we were building our new base, an absolute brute of a cannibal stumbled across us, and sent me sprawling to the ground. The problem with this base location was that it was directly located on one of the cannibal routes, as you can see on the map. Essentially, if you build on a location like this, expect to get plenty of unwanted visitors. Nat and I then tried out this trap here to see if it was any good, but compared to some of the traps from the first game, it appeared pretty underwhelming. I then saw that you could build a treehouse, and both the child inside me and the sensible adult inside me thought that this might be a good idea, as up in the air equals away from the scary cannibals on the ground. So I got to work, chopping trees down for some logs, and I also got Calvin to help me, which was greatly appreciated.
Oh yeah, nice up here. Look at the view.
After completing our treehouse, we left base in search of the next cave to explore. Later on that day, we did arrive at a cave and we were all excited to do some exploring. Sadly though, it looked as if this cave was still under development at the time of visit, and there was nothing for us to see inside. So we left the cave and stumbled across these white tents, which had some nice snacks for us. It didn't take long for us to find something a bit more interesting, as close to this abandoned golf cart, we found the entrance to an underground bunker. Inside the bunker, we found a fully fledged tech lab with a 3D printer. We made some arrows, but by far the best thing we made was a water flask, as we were really struggling with dehydration in the early stages of this game. We advanced further down the corridor, but we were stopped in our tracks when we reached the end of the hallway, as we needed a keycard to go further in. I wonder what could be behind these doors. We made ourselves this strange red mask, and I wondered if it would give us the ability to blend in with the big fat red men, but that's enough about Liverpool fans. We were still trying to tick off these locations on the GPS, and next up we wondered what these purple exclamation marks were. So along the beach we ran, until we arrived at a distressing scene.
Oh, it's a guy.
Oh, buddy.
Is he dead?
He's not alive.
Let me on.
Climb up. Get the heck onto this raft there, Rampy.
How? Oh,
Hold E on it.
Yeah, I'm getting on. I got a GPS locator.
Yeah, I did as well. I also got something that's going to be very useful
Watch
to
that
us.
watch that seagull. Oh, you got some use. Oh, pistol. Oh, let's go.
After swimming to the raft, we found ourselves a pistol, which was immediately put to some use, as Nat and I found ourselves surrounded by two large great white sharks. Using the pistol and our bows, we took out both of the sharks and then made a break for land. On land, I found another big fat Liverpool fan, who I thought I had on the run, only for him to lead me into a handful of his minions. We set up camp that night on the beach, as it was getting dark, and then slept through the night. The next day, on our adventures once more, we found a party of cannibals, and tried to use our red mask to convince the big red one that we were actually friendly. Sadly, this didn't appear to work, as he quite clearly still wanted to kill us. So I was forced to take him out, before we then stumbled across some more abandoned golf carts, just before the entrance to what appeared to be a bunker. Inside, we opened up the hatch and started to do some exploring. It appeared that this had obviously been used as a food storage parlour, so we used this opportunity to restock both of our bellies and our bags of food. We found a door to go through, but once again we needed keycard access, so we were unable to go any further. We climbed out of the bunker and escaped back through the cave. Back outside now, we found a mutant tied to a post, and of course, we weren't about to turn down a chance of some more free creepy armour from these. However, soon after, the cannibals returned to their camp which we were raiding, and weren't very pleased to see us, so we made ourselves scarce from the scene. The next point of interest on our GPS appeared to be this grave site right here. The ground, however, was rock hard, and we had nothing suitable of digging up whatever was under here. So instead, we vowed to return, as there was quite clearly something important here. It was now getting late, and when we awoke the next day, we were greeted by a surprise.
It's now snow here.
Wait, is it?
Yeah. Yep. Snow here as well.
Okay, so it's winter. Oh my.
During the night, we had had plenty of snow, and I couldn't help but miss my husky from home, who would have certainly enjoyed this snow. As pretty as the snow was, it was beginning to get rather cold out here, and we knew we would have to make a shelter for us as soon as possible. So Nat, Calvin and I spent a couple of days making our brand new log cabin. This was an exhausting exercise, and soon I found myself sleep deprived, dehydrated and starving all at once. Eventually though, the cabin was done, and inside we made a bed to sleep in, before cooking up some meat on a campfire to celebrate a job well done. We couldn't sit around for too long however, and it was soon time to get on the move once more. In deep snow, we found an abandoned cave, and nearby was the entrance to another cave. Inside the cave, we lit ourselves a fire, as we had begun to start freezing from our time in the snow. We then adventured on into the cave, where we encountered an absolute ton of cannibals in here, of all sorts of kinds. With no armour left, it was clear that we would have to use our long distance weapons to take these things out. So a mix of our bow and the pistol had to be used to make sure that we got out of here in one piece. This did allow us to harvest a ton of creepy armour, and as we advanced onto the last section of the cave, we now had a full armour inventory.
There's a shark, Nat. There is a shark. In a cave.
What?
There's a shark.
We're gonna arm here for you.
Oh, there's stuff over here, Nat. It's an upgraded backpack, I think it's in. A rebreather. It's a rebreather. Not quite sure why I thought it was a backpack.
After collecting our rebreather and taking care of the shark, Nat and I swam out of the cave, which led directly to the ocean, which does make sense as to why there might be a shark in there, I guess. We swam back to the snowy shore and then returned back into the same cave, as there were actually 2 ways to go in here, and we'd only taken one path, which of course led us to the rebreather. The right hand side was also full of a ton of mutants, so after dealing with them, we made sure to replace the pieces of our creepy armor that they had torn through. This side of the cave seemed to hint at something we would possibly have to face off against at a later date, and it looked terrifying. Makes you wonder where this leads. Like, this is another big half of the cave. Like, do we get another big item? Oh, now what the hell is behind this door? It looks like a T-Rex. Should we just like, I don't know about you, because like my cold and wet, my freezing.
Oh, at least you won't be cold anymore.
After not being able to go any further in that cave, we left and slept through the night until the very next morning. Oh, okay.
And somewhere to dig. So we need to find a shovel.
We need that shovel badly. That's twice now.
Because we can't just use our hands to uncover this little bit of dirt, apparently.
We cannot. Okay. We need a shovel.
We spent the next couple of days hunting for a shovel. We had now visited 2 sites on our GPS that quite clearly needed to be dug up by something, but we were currently powerless to do so. So we continued on, running into some more cannibals and cannibal camps on the way to our next cave. Outside, Nat knocked down the wooden planks that stopped us from entering, and we entered the cave. It was a good job that we had already collected the rebreather, as we needed it for the first section of this cave. Inside, we fought off a wave of mutants, and we were clearly in need of a better weapon at this stage, as the axe was really starting to noticeably struggle against these ever-growing stronger mutants. With no other choice, we pressed on further into the cave, picking up various items along the way.
I don't end up using all... Oh, we're sliding.
Oh, we are. Uh-oh.
Oh, snap.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh. Oh, that guy did not have the same fate we did. He died.
The cave appeared to be getting even darker, so Nat lit a flare to help us try and lead the way. We then picked up a grenade, which was normally a good sign that we would need to blow something up at some point, and we killed some more mutants. I then looted some money, as by the time that I got off this island and got home, I was hoping that Arc 2 might be out. We used our rebreather once more to get to the last section of the cave, before taking on a host of mutants in a big wide open room. We had no choice here but to use the pistol, as we were slowly getting overwhelmed by the vast amount of mutants that spawned in this cave, and we didn't want to unnecessarily complicate things. We actually got an attachment in this section for the pistol, which enabled me to put a flashlight on it, which was most appreciated.
There's another way now.
I see people.
Oh,
I see
no.
people.
I would come back this way because I see lights. I think this is the... Holy Mother Grail of babies.
Ow, babe. Bit my ankle.
So I'm just over here enjoying like a cutscene.
Well, I'll deal with the babies then.
Thank you, baby man. I'm coming back.
At the very end of this cave, we had finally been able to locate a shovel, and view what on earth this huge facility was behind me. The giant wall looked a little bit like the Great Wall of China, and something was clearly not right on this island. What had the Puftons been up to? We were exhausted after our efforts to get through this cave, so we set up a temp shelter and slept through the night. Apparently though, this had been an awful idea, as just as we woke up the next morning, it appeared that word had got out in the mutant community that we could be found in this exact spot. After eventually fighting our way past many a mutant, we found another slug mutant in the wall. As he looked a bit lonely, Nat decided to toss him a grenade for some company.
You know what? You're fat, you're ugly, eat this. Pinata.
It better be dead.
We went back through this way after the monster had ate the grenade, but it did just lead to an exit from the cave, as of course we couldn't go back the way we came in due to sliding down the slope. Back outside now, we did manage to locate an unfortunate squadron member who, unlike Nat, hadn't had the luxury of myself there to defend him at all times. He did leave behind a nice flashlight for us, which was much appreciated. With the shovel in hand, we set off back across the map, looking for the possible dig sites that we had already encountered. The first of which was located by some of the golf carts. After Nat and I successfully took on the arduous job of continuing to dig for a while, we eventually uncovered a hidden hatch. I wonder what kind of mysteries this hatch may be hiding. Inside we went, where we found some absolutely lovely rooms which looks very hotel style. The main thing we found in here, however, was a keycard with the name of Carl Planter. The question was whether Carl's keycard would be able to open up some of the doors that we had seen earlier. The room also had another 3D printer, and as we had both been saving up our printer resin, we made ourselves a sled each. This certainly looked like it might come in handy. With the sled in our possession, we left the room where we found some lovely babies to kill, and then found ourselves a much needed upgrade.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, firefighter axe. Now that is what we like to see.
We slept the night away in the luxurious double bed that was provided by the Puffton family, which was a great night's sleep. Once you get over the blood on the sheets, that was. The next morning, we made our way out of the hatch and found out that while we were down here, we'd obviously missed out on the gymnastics lessons given for free on this island, where you learn such skills as shown by this cannibal right here. We then raided some graves, just like the scumbags we are, and arrived at a dig site that we had previously visited. As I prepared to dig up some poor soul's grave, I wasn't sure what I expected to find, but it certainly wasn't a pump action shotgun. With our new shotgun, I decided to test it out by blowing the brains off of this cannibal right here, and I was pretty impressed with the results. Obviously, so was Calvin, who had got himself all dressed up for the cannibal's funeral. Someone control this man, please. With Calvin all dressed up as if he was about to hit the nearest nightclub, we adventured on. Stumbling across this crazy active cannibal camp, we decided that it wasn't worth fighting them, and made a retreat. We put a temp shelter down to get some sleep, and the next morning squeezed back into the cave that we had already visited. Now, the reason we had come back to this cave once more was because this is the cave that links into the food parlour, and as you might remember, there was a door that was locked at the very end of it. With our keycard in hand, thanks to good old Carl Planter, we could now explore this facility further, in case there were any clues as to what might have happened to the Puftons. Inside we found the greenhouse, where we assume they grow their fruit and veg. This is a very strange island, and we still had no idea what the purpose of it was.
Crossbow.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
Arrows here, Nat. Oh, crossbow bolts.
creepy.
We used our new crossbow to take down a mouth breather, and then realised that the rest of this facility appeared to be somewhat underwater. This didn't deter us, and we pressed on, eager to find some answers.
It's a bit dead. Oh. Oh, hang on.
Camera room.
What the hell?
Those are people turning into
This.
the creepies.
Yep.
There's a key card here.
Nice VIP keycard. Oh, Virginia Puffin.
Virginia Puffton.
Ah.
After looting Virginia's VIP keycard, we then found an email referencing some sort of cube. After using the keycard to access the cafeteria, we saw a familiar haunting face on the other end. The man in the silver jacket was stood across the cafe, and just as we approached him, he jumped off and swam down into the deep water. We couldn't chase him for now, as if we jumped down there would be no way back, and we had to explore the cafe area for clues, as this is where it all went down on the recordings we had seen. We then found another email referencing golf balls, which made me realise that the whole purpose of this entire island was to be a golf resort. Evidently though, they'd had some trouble sourcing some balls, and now their island's run by cannibals. Nat and I then made a major discovery. Inside the cafe, we found the placemats for the Puffton family. Next to Edward Puffton sat a dead creepy. Was this the Edward Puffton? What had happened to his wife and daughter? Had they been turned into creepies also? There were still so many unanswered questions, but we felt that we were getting closer. We slept the night away in the cafe, and then grabbed any last-ditch items we might have missed, before exiting the bunker through its cave entrance. I was having probably way too much fun with this shotgun at this stage, and instead of preserving its ammo, I used it to make sure that no cannibal would lay a finger on me. Nat and I took out this big troll looking fella, and then I made some bone armor, which is honestly really not worth it on this game. We then traipsed into the snow biome, looking for some more caves to explore, wondering if they had any much needed clues. Sadly, most of the caves in the snow with the current state of the game are all pretty empty, but I'm assuming that one day they will be fully fleshed out, and probably a blast to play through. We spent a good 10 days just going from cave to cave, and then sleeping through the night, as we were tired after our long excursions across the map. Yet still, we were no closer to finding the Puftons, or better still, a way off this island. The snow biome was very cold, so as we continued to explore every nook and cranny of it, we were forced to make ourselves a torch. These smaller ice caves looked like a great place for the Puftons to be hiding, but sadly, all we found was dead bodies. After exploring the majority of the snow, it was finally time to put our sled to use. Oh! Oh! Ow!
A little bit of a sled, you know?
How do I get out of this thing? There we go. I mean, that was really cool, to be fair, until I quit crashing into the trees.
You going back on the sled again?
Ah! No! Help!
I
I've
can't
gone
help
too
you.
far! Oh, I've just gone flying! I hit a tree and it sent me flying in the air.
After sledding down the mountain, we found a frozen over lake and witnessed one of the worst camouflage attempts from these muddies that I've ever seen. We found another cave entrance and squeezed through the gap. Initially, this looked positive as the cave had a rather large opening. However, after doing a bit of exploring inside, we soon realised that this cave was another that hadn't been quite fleshed out yet. So we returned back to the outside world and briefly continued exploring, before finding another bunker to explore at the bottom of this cave. We used our VIP keycard to gain some access, and soon found ourselves at a rather mysterious looking yellow door.
Like a door.
Okay.
Get down!
Babies! Not the babies!
Shoot faster! Oh shit, Silver Jacket's back. Oh no, no!
Oh! Uh-oh. Well, what just happened there?
Well, that looked like the guys from the other squad. Good to know they're still alive.
So, we're not really quite sure what happened here. As we were about to pass out, it looked like it was curtains for us. However, upon waking up, everyone was gone and the horrible slug monster was dead. I did briefly play some hide and seek with the mutants, but clearly someone never told this guy that you can't hide behind the door. We found another email marked confidential, but couldn't make out what most of it said as it was all blacked out. This place was absolutely riddled with mutants and creepies of all kinds, so I decided to get the Molotovs out to help us deal with some of them. Inside though, we found a weapon that I was all too familiar with, the katana. The katana is a sword, and it was my favourite weapon of choice from Site A, so I was relieved to be reunited with it. With a new weapon but still so few answers, Nat and I made up a temporary shelter and slept through the night. We then attempted to make our way back out of this facility altogether, as we were assuming that Silver Jacket was long gone by this point. We had come to the conclusion that if we wanted answers, we had to stop this man, so that was our new main goal. In the basement area, we found a very creepy testing-like room, which had a book titled Deep Sleep. We then found another one of those masks, which we still weren't exactly sure what they did, and a keycard, which I assumed to be kind of useless, as we already of course did have the VIP keycard.
Scan it.
You know what?
Nah, I might have messed up! Oh, wow. Yeah, I respect that. I respect that a lot.
After Nat took out the mutant with a shotgun, we escaped the cave and returned back to the open world of the snow biome. Between days 40 and 50, Nat and I reached the peak of the snow mountain and surveyed the island from the top. It all looked very pretty from up here, far away from the horrors that lurked in the trees below. It seemed that the cannibals didn't like the snow very much, so Nat and I took this opportunity to do some sledding. Safe to say the sledding was a mix of complete exhilaration and a lot of regret, all mixed into
What a
one.
treat. Stop, no. I made a mistake.
Nah, I'm stuck. I've made a big mistake. Oh my god, I'm flying. Help!
Okay.
I'm off.
Suddenly, out of nowhere in the snow biome, we came across some red tents. This was the first sign of life that we had seen in this biome, so we were immediately intrigued. We looted some supplies and lit a fire to cook some meat, before finding a hang glider just down the cliff from the tents. This was a very nice way to get around the map of course, and a very quick one, so we had to give it a go.
Go, let's go.
Nah. Nat went for the second attempt.
You coming?
Ow! Nat, I'm almost dead.
Did you plummet straight down?
Uh-huh. It threw my glider down again, Nat. I don't know if I jumped too early again, maybe?
Safe to say, it took me a little while to actually get the hang of this glider, but once I did get the hang of it, I was soon soaring across the map at the speed of light.
I'm gliding, Nat. I'm gliding!
Nice.
Fair, you had the best time of flight. Oh, crush it! Oh, well, my glider's all the way back on the beach. Below.
After spending a long time in the snow and finally getting out of it, we were greeted the next morning by the lovely surprise that it was once more snowing all over the map. So, with a torch in hand to keep us warm, we trekked through the snow and filled up our flasks at the nearest water stream.
I mean, hey, it's what the people were having for dinner.
Oh! Oh! What the hell was that? Oh, I've just jumped out of my skin. That was so loud.
We then returned to one of the first ever caves that we visited, as we remembered there had been a door that we couldn't access as we didn't have a keycard at the time. Interestingly, back in the hatch, and perhaps rather creepily, there had been a change. On the screen we saw a profile of someone. Now that someone was Silver Jacket. It appeared that he had worked on this island before for the Puffton family, but the question was, why was he still alive and everyone else seemingly dead?
He must have been here because and been using the computer.
Ah.
What is... Yeah.
So I reckon he's behind what went down here.
Well, no shit. You know, he knocked us out with a pistol.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, the cannibals and stuff like that in the cafeteria.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I reckon.
After doing some detective work that Sherlock Holmes himself would have been proud of, we used our keycard to advance further in. It appeared in this area that it had previously been used as a leisure centre, as it had a full gym and pool. Now though, it was just full of mutants.
Nat,
Yeah.
there's some like naked men over there just sort of standing there.
Baby's behind you.
Oh my god, I've actually just jumped. There's something like
All the gunk.
there's something in there.
We then made our way to the spa section.
Should we check over here first, Nat, before we go in there?
Join us in the dining hall Monday at 2 p.m. for a special performance by Bad Pivot. Is this island a resort or something?
Yeah, definitely. This is like, it's a luxury golf resort, right? Like, this is the type of people who go on golf holidays have a lot of money.
The pieces of the puzzle were slowly starting to fit together, and a picture was beginning to form.
No.
Nope, just something about going to the dining hall at 2 p.m. Monday.
What the? Glass.
Oh, there's a spider thing.
But is it on the other side of the glass?
Yeah, it's on the other side.
By the pool, we found ourselves another email, but this one didn't seem to reveal anything too important, aside from the fact that Edward Puffton may have been somewhat on the paranoid side. We then located the bar nightlife type area, and fittingly, the D in good wasn't lit up, as today was in fact not a good day. I got myself a guitar, which appeared to be absolutely useless as I couldn't even play it, and then looted a ton of money from a dead man. Morals were truly out the window by this point. A couple more emails were found on the tables. Clearly the golf balls were still causing a significant issue for the Puftons, but one document we did find that was a bit more interesting was Edward Puffton's will. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure I would not bring my will with me to a nightclub, so what Mr. Puffton's desires for all his fortunes were doing on the table, I have got no idea whatsoever. We then advanced down the hallway, taking out the remaining mutants that stood in our path.
There's a few of them.
Oh, it's a big one. I'm running.
Yeah. I'm gonna make use of the Molotov. I never really get to use them.
We then found a further email, once more referencing some sort of artifact. The word artifact sent shivers down our spine, and it was clear at this point that there must be some sort of crossover from the first island.
What I see, a very useful one.
Oh, yes.
With a looted chainsaw and the entirety of Jurassic Park watched, we headed out back into the snowy world outside. Soon after our return though, the weather changed. The snow melted to be replaced by a rainstorm. I have to say I am slightly confused as to why you would build a luxury golf course on an island which is susceptible to this type of weather patterns. Decked in our creepy armour, we came across what appeared to be an abandoned cannibal camp and looted its very basic supplies. After stealing from actual cannibals, we stooped one lower and dug up some graves to loot from. The following day we saw a very angry Liverpool fan across the stream, so we of course ran away, as we didn't fancy any of that. We ended up returning to the body of our fallen comrade, as it turned out that Nat hadn't quite seen the flashlight that I had picked up before. Once more, we trekked up the almost vertical snow mountain to the top, but at least when we got there, we got to use the sled.
Oh, wow. Hi, Nat. I'm going backwards. Oh, I've just absolutely flown. What the hell? Oh, my God. I've gone flying. Oh, I'm down a river. I'm on a river. Oh, my God. Whoa. Whoa. How is this safe?
We were on our way down to the beach, sledding down the rivers, only for me to hit a rock and slow right down, just as I happened to be passing a host of cannibals.
Oh my God, listen, what is this? It's like a propeller.
I'm running.
I want his weapons. I'm trying to kill him. What is that? It's not a chainsaw, sorry. It's some. I don't know what it is though. Oh, you're here.
It's an engine prop.
We had ticked off most of our sites on our GPS now, but we still had a few left to go to. Could one of these be Silverjacket's permanent hideout? We dug through the night, but eventually managed to uncover this hatch, and we then climbed into the bunker. Inside, we didn't really find ourselves very much, apart from this nice little revolver, of course. Aside from that, however, there really wasn't an awful lot more in here, just some basic supplies and some printer resin. So the next day, after a nice safe sleep overnight in the bunker, we climbed back out of the hatch and set out after our next point of interest. We were really running out of leads now as to where Silverjacket might be, so we decided to return to the cafeteria, where we had previously seen him before. To do this, however, we would once more have to trek through the snow, which led to another sledding adventure at the top of the mountain. One interesting thing was that it seemed that the mutants had clearly broken out of the caves by now, and were now beginning to free roam the open world. Previously, the only mutants we had seen out here were ones tied to posts at Cannibals Camp, but this had now changed, and a battle between the cannibals and the mutants was emerging out in the open world. We squeezed back into the cave, and then once more entered through the trapdoor. We returned to the screen room where we had witnessed those horrific events earlier, and there was a news article on the screen about Nat and the events from the First Island. Obviously no one believed us from our story from the First Island, but why had someone come back here and brought up an article written about Nat? Had Silverjacket been here, I wonder? So, since we had last been here, the bodies of Edward and Barbara Puffton had disappeared. They then emerged from the shadows as I would say alive, but they were clearly no longer human.
Oh, Nat, what is that?
What?
Oh,
Barbara?
Edward's
Barbara.
over here. Edward's over here.
Barbara? We're here to get you off this island.
He's not looking good, Nat. He's not looking good. Oh. Stay away.
Oh, Barbara's
what?
knocked me down.
Oh my God. Let me see if Edward's any nicer. Edward, calm down. Ow! Edward! There's no need. Oh. Yeah, he's not leaving me alone. Yeah, taser him. Good idea. It's time to light these bitches on fire.
We need them alive, Rampy.
It's alright, I missed. I'm not very good.
Despite our whole mission in the first place being to save these guys, we had to stop them before they stopped us. With the Puftons now gone, we had two objectives. One to find Virginia Puffton, who is still missing, and of course track down the elusive Silverjacket. We swam through the water that Silverjacket had gone through earlier and emerged inside a cave, which was of course filled with a ton of mutants. Outside, we were greeted by a selection of cannibals who had noticeably got far stronger as the days went on. They also now appeared to be wearing their own creepy armour, which I'm assuming they were harvesting from the mutants, which were now running amok everywhere across the island, thanks to Nat and I. We stumbled across some more abandoned tents and found another email related to the golf balls. It appeared there was another twist in the tale, as they hadn't ordered any golf balls, or any clubs for that matter. Some shocking management right there. Nat and I then found a paper target, so we decided that we'd have a little break from our mission of getting off the island to have an archery contest. Personally, I'd say I was the victor here, although I did take a little while to warm up, I'll admit that. We discovered a cannibal camp not far away, and we took them out as I actually used a crossbow for once, and actually found it a pretty effective weapon of choice. On our travels, we returned to the same area that we had made our first ever base in. There was a sense of accomplishment as we revisited the first ever location we had lived in, as back then we were struggling desperately to survive in those early days. Just as we thought we'd seen it all, Virginia Puffton came out of the woods, dressed as if she'd just finished a nice day in the luxury spa.
Wait, what?
There's a three-legged woman. I swear it looks
Hi.
like... Oh my god.
That's Virginia.
Shall I attack her?
Hi,
Oh,
Virginia.
the cannibal! Cannibal!
Don't
attack
she
her.
definitely seems friendly. No, do not attack
She
her.
has 3 legs now.
She did appear to have one more leg than I would call normal, so when something spooked her and she sprinted off into the trees, I can't say that I was terribly sorry to see her go, although I wouldn't have minded that inheritance. We slept the night away in our treehouse hideout, which we'd worked so hard to make originally, in the early days. We couldn't stay here for long though, as we wanted to go home. We came across what looked like a cannibal camp that had been overrun by mutants, so we were forced to take them out. I then used my katana to take out a big fat red man who had been lurking in the bushes nearby. While Nat dug up a hole that he had found, Calvin and I played the important role of watching out for any nearby cannibals, looking for an easy meal. When Nat had finished his work, we clambered in to find another maintenance hatch. These hatches were clearly designed to be luxury resort rooms, but personally I'd be requesting a refund if I found a rotten dead corpse in my bathtub. However, on this occasion I will let them off, as in this hatch we found a compound bow, which represented a considerable upgrade on the normal bow we had at the moment. We both made ourselves some tech mesh armour using our printer resin to print the base materials. The armour was meant to be a step above the creepy armour in the armour chain, so I was looking forward to using it. After sleeping the night away in a nice bed which didn't even have any blood on, we hit day 90. We had 10 days to get ourselves off this hell of an island. With this mission in mind, we might have got slightly ahead of ourselves and ended up exiting the bunker in the middle of the night. To make matters worse, there were some cannibals waiting right for us at the top of the hatch. We had no other choice at this point though to plough on through the night, so we got out our shotguns for the extra protection and for the extra light it generated, thanks to the flashlight attachment. We then found a stream and sledded down towards the beach. We had one lead left on our GPS that we hadn't explored yet. If we couldn't locate Silver Jacket here, or better still find a way off the island, we would have to go back to the drawing board. Interestingly, this beach seemed to be full of mutants, which did make us wonder, what would we be getting ourselves into here? As it almost appeared the mutants were guarding something. We had to use our guns and some of our precious ammo here to take out the mutants, but it did give us a great chance to restock our creepy armor supplies. We could only equip 10 pieces at a time, but then could carry another 10 pieces in our inventory. It appeared that these mutants were gradually taking over the cannibal camps along the beach. For the remaining cannibal camps that remained on the beach, the compound bow worked wonders as we took them all out. A little further along the beach we found something very interesting. It appeared that this island did actually have a helicopter landing pad. We would certainly be returning here immediately after we explored the final marker. We used our keycard to gain access to a hallway, which then led into the same corridor design that we had seen in all the luxury rooms we had seen so far. This time though, we weren't able to explore the rooms itself, so we pressed on. We arrived at a lounge type room, which had bloodstains everywhere, and also some very familiar art all over the walls. We found a copy of Nat's book on the table.
That's the cube.
Where?
They keep mentioning the... Look at...
Oh yeah, the cube.
The cube. They keep mentioning the cube.
There is a lot of art of the cube in here.
This must be the Puffton's private quarters.
I was going to say, this looks nice, this. Apart from the maintenance worker hanging from his neck from the middle of the ceiling.
Which he'd of course written after we arrived home from Site A. Why they had this I do have to wonder. Sorry Nat, but it wasn't exactly a Sunday Times bestseller. On the counter we found another shotgun, and while we couldn't actually carry the shotgun itself, the ammo it came with was certainly nice. We then found a very odd note on the counter, which read, "Crosses burn demons."
What if that creature we saw outside the morgue was actually a demon?
Yeah. Crosses bad.
Oh, this is Virginia's room.
So,
Oh, look, ballet shoes.
Oh. Nah, through here. Through here. Through the smoke.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, it's one of these doors again. We've seen these before.
Oh. Okay, we need a hand or something. Oh. I've put on the gold armor. I am now wearing gold armor.
After opening the ominous looking door, we equipped our golden armor, which we sensed was needed for this occasion.
I wonder if I can
Oh, what the heck is that? What is that? What is that?
What? Oh, it's just a creepy.
Right.
It's just a normal one, I think.
That
right?
that does not look like a regular creepy.
Okay, no, it's definitely not.
What is that?
Ow! Ow! I crossbowed it.
Look at it. This thing doesn't look human.
No, this doesn't.
At least all the creepies, you could tell they've been human before. You know what? I might seem like an idiot. I'm gonna try the cross. I'm willing to be called an idiot, but for science, I'm going to try it.
What? See if it kills the demons?
I don't even know.
Nat had this crazy idea that the wooden cross that we had gotten from a grave earlier would somehow make these demon-like monsters burn with fire. He had surely gone mental. With the new #1 best weapon in our hands, we advanced further into the cave. We were surely closing in on our date with destiny.
Back! Back! Get back! Get back!
Is it burning him?
They burned it. They burst into flames.
Oh my god.
What? Back! Get back! Back!
I'm equipping the cross.
Back! Oh my god! It actually works. These are actual demons.
Crosses burn them, Nat.
We used our crosses to fight off the many demons which inhabited this place, and our golden armor seems to be doing quite a good job of keeping us alive down here.
Whoa.
Holy.
We are descending into hell.
Literally.
Another piece of paper was found down here, which once more referenced the cube. It said that it activated every 8 cycles. How long was 8 cycles, and could this cube be down here?
16 weeks?
16 weeks, yeah.
If we saw in the security cam footage that means the cube might be activating soon.
That's true.
We have to find this cube. I don't know about you. I don't want to be one of these freaky mutant things. Okay. Guess we got.
Maybe the cube's the safe. The cube's the safe spot. We saw a drawing that early on. It said "safe in the cube."
Yeah.
The cube is the place to go.
More and more references to the cube just kept coming up down here, as we used our cross to continue fighting off the demons. After burning the demons, we eventually found ourselves squeezing through a gap at the very end of the cave, with a cube-shaped room right at the end.
What's this? Is this a cube?
Oh, this is the cube, Nat.
Yo, dude, you made it. Nice. Where's Gion Yu? What's the timer for?
Oh.
Kelvin, get in here.
Did you see John Yu?
Gion Yu tried to get into.
Yeah. He was there.
Wait,
he was there.
What's happening? What's the countdown
It's
for?
activating. The cube's activating.
Oh, dude, are you okay? Oh, that. Oh my. What the heck's going on? Whoa. Calvin, do you see this?
What on earth?
I don't think we're on Earth anymore, Rampy.
I agree, Nat. I agree. I wonder why John Yu wants to join us.
Well, it did say safe in the cube. Oh, that was a weird experience.
Hang on, what's happening now? It's gone.
I think we're back. I think we're safe.
Oh!
Gion.
That's John Yu.
Used. Yep. Look at the head at the top. Oh.
It's
Backup's here.
It's time to go home, Nat.
Hey, you survived the gunshot. Awesome, dude. Oh, we can either stay here or we can go with them.
I feel like we go. What do you reckon?
I feel like I've stayed on an island before.
It didn't
I'm
go
ready
too
to
well.
leave.
It's time to go. For good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, it's
Until
a pity
next
about
time.
Virginia, hey?
It is a real pity, but that sounds like her problem. She's got 3 legs. She'll fit in with the locals.
Yeah. Oh.
Until next time, Nat. Until next time.
Till next time.
If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching my Sons of the Forest 100 Days. A huge thank you to Nat for recording both this and the Forest 100 Days with me. If you haven't seen the first 100 Days of the Forest video that me and Nat did, I'll leave a link on screen now and in the description below. I've got plenty more videos coming up in the next few weeks, so stay tuned for some important announcements. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and take care of yourself, guys.